Alrighty, here we are again with this time our fourth, I believe. Yep, fourth Judas Priest album review, and we are looking at 1978's masterpiece, none other than Stained Class. And I'll say this, this is really a transitional time for Priest. This one is a significantly heavier than the last three albums, and I really believe that, there's almost like a timeline, in different eras. I think Rock-a-Rolla through Sin After Sin is really kind of its own era. Then this one through probably British Steel. Then you've got, Screaming all the way through like Painkiller. And then of course the Tim Ripper Owens era. And then of course we have the last, 2005 through the Angel Retribution all the way through Firepower. But anyways, with all that being said, this is, man, like I said, this is significantly heavier. And every song off here, this is all killer, no filler on this thing. We'll start it off with Exciter. What a badass song. And also the progginess. This one's really heavy while the progginess is still there. And Exciter is such a freaking kick-ass song. Just get you in the gear, ready to put the pedal to the metal. Then you've got White Heat, Red Hot. Another really heavy track with some freaking awesome riffs in it. Really good time changes in both of those songs. Then probably, just these keep going in a row. Another one of my favorites, Better By You, Better Than Me. That's a classic. Such a badass chorus when it slows down, everything stops, but then drums and Halford's voice going. Then we've got Stained Class, another really good song. Not my favorite off here, but again, all killer, no filler. But, I'm just kind of talking about my favorites. But again, another great song, cool time changes, cool chorus. Then Invader closes side one. And that's a really freaking cool track, too. I would say, though, that's probably my least favorite track on the album, if I had to choose one. Side two, one of the heaviest tracks off this album, Saints in Hell. Halford's just screeching on this thing, and it's just absolutely brutal. And that song in particular, really cool lyrics too. Then we've got Savage, another fast-paced go-getter on the album. Then one of my favorite Priest songs of all time right here. Track number 3 off side 2, Beyond the Realms of Death. Oh my God. That is one of the best Judas Priest songs I've ever heard in my life. The heaviness, the time changes, the length of it's about 7 minutes. That could easily be in a top 5 Priest songs for me. It's that freaking good. Then you close it with Hero's End, which is a cool way to close it because the album is ended, Hero's End. But yeah, this album is just absolutely incredible. I can't express it enough. And the first time I heard it, a long time ago, I kind of had the similar situation with Rock-a-Rolla, except not as extreme on this one because I had, with Rock-a-Rolla, I hated it whenever I first heard it. With this one, I just was like, okay, this is a good album. But I wasn't blown away by it. It wasn't until I came back to it maybe a year later, and I was like, holy shit, what was I talking about? So I was completely, I had to come back and listen to it. I guess I was so hung up on Painkiller at the time and like some of those 80s ones, Defenders of the Faith and Screaming. Because that's all the ones I had really listened to was those. And so I wasn't really appreciating this album. But then, I go back, listen to it, and I'm like, this thing is just full of greatness and is a absolute masterpiece. Anyways, though, guys, that's the end of this review here. The next time we'll be looking at, I believe it also came out in 78, and it kind of depends on where you're from, but here in the US, it's called Hell Bent for Leather. I know it's called Killing Machine in the UK and elsewhere, but that'll be what we're looking at next time. Anyways, thanks a lot, guys, for watching. I appreciate it.